Browns back at it. Mary Kay getting ready for the Houston Texans. But before that, Baker Mayfield gave us a little drama this week. Obviously, we saw what happened after the game with Hue Jackson on the field. And then, of course, Baker's comments immediately after the game. Then on Monday, Baker Mayfield and his brother took to Instagram to respond to Damian Woody, who went on First Take and criticized Mayfield, called him immature for his comments and his actions about Jackson. And so today is the day we hear from Baker Mayfield, and he had a chance to address that all.
And you know what? He does not regret one thing that he said, not even the fact that he called Hue Jackson fake. He says he's outspoken, he's entitled to his opinion, and he's not going to change for anybody.
Which is not really much of a surprise based on what we know about Baker Mayfield going all the way back to the Combine when he declared that he was the quarterback that could turn this franchise around. Obviously, John Dorsey agreed. He goes on Colin Cowherd's show and attacks him and goes back at him when Colin Cowherd has made sort of a cottage industry of criticizing Mayfield. So this really is who Mayfield is, and he doesn't seem like he's going to run from it.
No, he's not. In fact, I think that he likes to be in the eye of the storm. He likes to mix it up. I think it keeps him motivated. It keeps the fire lit beneath him. He had to walk on twice at Texas Tech and again at Oklahoma. He's always had to scrap and fight and claw for everything that he's ever gotten. And I think this is his way of getting himself to the place that he needs to be able to win football games.
And he always carries that little bit of swagger. And it really does seem like, at least during this little mini winning streak of 2 games in a row, the first time the Browns have won 2 games in a row in forever, like that rubs off a little bit on his teammates. Obviously, we've both been in those winning locker rooms these last 2 weeks. We've heard what guys have had to say about Mayfield. We've seen the way this team has played, and they seem to be feeding off of his attitude a little bit.
Yeah, they really are. They're buying in. I mean, they have, he's their leader, and they are following him. And even when you talk to a guy like Joel Bitonio today, he says, he doesn't even see this stuff as a sign of immaturity, what he's saying about Hue Jackson. He sees it as Baker, doing what he has to do. He's glad he's their quarterback. And like you said, these guys are following his lead. I will say, however, that I have talked to a source close to Hue Jackson. Now, I did try to get him to respond. He didn't want to, but I've talked to some people around him, and they've said he has no idea what Baker Mayfield is talking about in terms of being fake. No idea, no clue. In fact, Hue Jackson didn't really coach Baker Mayfield this year at all. Or hardly at all. That was Todd Haley's job and Ken Zampese's job while Hue Jackson was overseeing the team.
And, of course, Mayfield was not really ready to elaborate on any of that today when we spoke to him as well. Now, real quickly, we got to talk to Deshaun Watson today via conference call, as we do every week. We get to talk to a player usually. And Watson, of course, could have been the number 12 pick here last year. The Browns decided to trade out of the number 12 pick. They've ended up with Baker Mayfield, so maybe it all works out. But an exciting matchup this week between Watson and Mayfield. Neither guy really wanted to get into, the either-or of who the Browns could have.
Right, but you know what? It does add some more drama to this game. Now, of course, it's the second time that Deshaun Watson will be facing the Browns. And last year he admitted that, that he did have a little bit of extra for the Cleveland Browns because they passed on him. I asked him about that today on the conference call, and he said, no, he's just so grateful and happy to be where he's at. But, Ben Roethlisberger used that for years and years and years to get his game face on when it came time to play the Cleveland Browns. And I just have a feeling that Deshaun Watson will be able to dig down deep and find a little bit of that on Sunday.
Yeah, guys always have that little chip on their shoulder, even if they don't want to admit it. And, of course, we will cover all the lead up to that game. Everything Baker Mayfield had to say, all of it will be at cleveland.com/Browns.